Alright, so the first thing you want to do is you want to get your primal game data. You want to put the code in here because this will make sure that it's stackable with other mods. You can basically put every game has multiple mods, so they load from the primal game data. So this should make it stackable with all the mods. And just have to wait. Dev kit's a little bit slow. Alright. So in here, you want to open up the event loaded world. This is once the world is loaded. You want to have a 3-second delay just to give it some time. Get the game state and cast it to shooter game state. This allows you to get all the players. And then with all players, you can loop through each one and spawn the buff. Spawn buff attached to caster. This is the user interface buff that we created. We want a buff user interface so that you have more capabilities and also to make it usable with other mods. This way you're not changing any of the player's information. This is the widget that we created. Just use the image you sent me. So in the buff, in the event begin play, we want to create a client user interface or a custom event. I just named it client user interface. We want to replicate to the client so that it runs on the server or the client. Server and the client. You want to create a variable type of the user interface screen that we created or the widget. Name it whatever you want. We want to make sure that it's valid, which it should. This is more for testing purposes, but if it's not valid, which it's empty, which it should be, we're going to get the instigator controller. This is the player. We're going to make sure that that does work, so make sure that's valid. After that, we're going to create a user in a screen widget with that player so that it casts us to the player's screen. With that, we want to make sure that works. So again, of course, we're going to see if it's valid. Set it to the new user in a screen variable that we created earlier. Give it a 2-second delay or 0.2 second delay. Add to the viewport. And then after that, this is optional if you want to delay it for as long as you want, 10 seconds, 50 seconds, or if you want to create like a button to shut it down. But for now, I just put a 10-second delay to remove the view once the player is done reading. And we can test this out right now. I have a server and a client going to load up. It'll show both their screens. And I forgot it doesn't show both their screens, but you'll still see it on this side. So after 10 seconds, boom, disappears. My screen capture doesn't record both, but it works on both server and client.